Hello everyone, welcome to Deeksha online classes. Today we are going to go through a topic named Modification in Leaves. In the earlier botany classes, we have learned chapters such as diversity in plants, living world. Then we moved on to understand plant parts, learning morphology of root. Then we did modification of stem, and today's topic is modification of leaf. Before we move on to modification of leaf, we are going to understand its morphology. So, the first part in morphology we understand is a leaf is a part of the shoot system where an axillary bud present at the nodes of the branches modifies itself or differentiate itself into forming a leaf. If you look at this leaf, it is dorso-ventrally symmetrical type. You can see from the left to right it is having a proper symmetry maintained on both dorsal or upper surface and ventral or lower surface. Leaves are generally isobilaterally compressed, meaning to tell they are equally compressed from upper and lower side. Bilateral because it can be cut into two equal halves in one plane. You see that this leaf which is grown from the axillary bud could be named as it is an appendage of the stem. It is a modification of the stem forming into a leaf. Which bud? Axillary bud. In its axis grows into leaf. What kind of projection is this? This is a exogenous projection. It is growing outwards in nature from the shoot system. If you ask me, ma'am, what is the major role or function of leaf? I would say the most important role is photosynthesis. You know, plants are autotrophs. If plants are autotrophs, they have to cook their own food, prepare their own food. This is done with the process of photosynthesis. What are the secondary functions or what are the functions which get involved in the process of photosynthesis? Gaseous exchange. Leaf takes in carbon dioxide to give out oxygen, and this happens during the process of transpiration. We understand that a part called as stomata, which is nothing but a opening on the leaf, opens up so that carbon dioxide can be taken in. In the process, it loses out water. This process is called as transpiration. The water which is lost is in the form of vapor. I hope you understood this. Leaves are generally compressed, isobilaterally symmetrical leaves, which is an extension or a modification of the stem from its axis. Here you see axillary bud formation. These are exogenous growth. The main important function is photosynthesis, gaseous exchange and transpiration. The next topic we are going to understand is types of leaf. When we are understanding types of leaf, here the main important thing you should understand is the structure itself. In the previous diagram itself we saw that on a stem at a node there is an axillary bud which grows into a leaf. So, this part is named as petiole, and here you can see there is extended leaf like structure called stipule, and in the center you have the mid rachis or the main vein, and around it you have the subveins growing. This entire region is called as leaf lamina. and this is a simple leaf where you can see the entire leaf is present. There is no incision. So, on this basis, whether or not there is incision, and if incision is there, how deep is the leaf incised, and hence is this a simple leaf or a compound leaf? We are trying to understand the types of leaf. So, if there is a single leaf lamina, we call the leaf to be a simple. So, we understand the lamina is entire. Incision may or may not be there, that is not the issue, but the incision should never reach the rachis. You can see this entire leaf is complete. So, this is a simple leaf. Such simple leaf we see in various plants. Few example which is given here is mango and guava. Whereas, if you look at these leaves were supposed to be like this. But what has happened? The incisions which is present on leaf has reached inner portions. So, these are incision of the leaf. So, if the incisions have reached like this and they have become into tiny many leaves, then what do you understand by this? This understanding is that this is a compound leaf. Now, look at these incisions have reached singly inside. This becomes a compound leaf. Now, compound leaf are of mainly two types. One is pinna-like and the other is palm-like. Both the parts we have it in our own body. We have 2-ear pinna and we have 2 hand palms. In palm we have 5 digits, right? Now look at these two pictures. Forget this one leaf for time being. We have 2 leaf, 2 leaf, 2 leaf, 2 leaf. So this appears like one ear, the other ear pinna. So this type of leaf is called as pinnately compound leaf. On the other hand, look at the palm. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So, you can make out 5 digits of a palm. Permeately compound leaf. It looks like digitized. So, you have two types of leaf based on whether it is having a simple type of leaf where the entire leaf lamina is there with or without incisions. But if the incision has reached the complete end till the mid rachis, it is called compound leaf. The next part is pinnately compound leaf. We are trying to understand in greater detail. Now, as I have already told, pinnately compound leaf will have two leaves on each side. But look at the tip. Sometime back I told for time being you leave it. Now I am bringing in tip. Look at the tip region. In this you can see a single leaf being present, and in the other diagram in this one you can see 2 leaves being present at a time in the tip. So, based on this you can understand that we are going to subcategorize pinnately compound leaf. Uni means what? Uni means 1, and in this case you can say bi, but in we have a different set of name what we are trying to bring in here. If I have odd pinnate at the tip, I call it as impari pinnate. What do I call it as? Impari pinnate leaf. And if I have 2 leaves at the tip of the flower, or in other words if I say this is odd number of leaves present and in this case we have even number of leaves present, we call it as peripinnate. So, I repeat again, if I have pinna-like extensions of leaf, we call it as pinnately compound leaf. But based on how many leaves are there at the tip of the leaf stem, we understand imparipinnate having odd number and even number, it is 2. So, paripinnate leaf. Let's understand certain examples. Imparipinnate or odd number is seen in case of roses and beans, whereas paripinnate is seen in case of tamarindas and cycas. So, I hope it is very clear. So, in this case, how will you draw? It will be drawn like this. And in this case, how you will draw? It will be drawn like this. Okay. So, it is clear now. Moving on, the subcategorization of paripinnate leaf is the next thing what we are learning. Paripinnate or imparipinnate, in short if I have to tell, or in combined form if I have to tell, the first category was unipinnate type. Next comes bipinnate. Now look at here we have the main stem, on which the next set of leaflet is supposed to be like this, 1 leaflet, 2 leaflet. But what has happened? Here leaflet has further undergone incisions. So what is happening? This leaflet, which is supposed to be complete entire, has grown more numerous smaller leaves. These smaller leaves now is of second line incision, which we call it as bipinnate. The second line incision is called bipinnate. So you can read it. Rachis produces secondary rachis on lateral sides and bears leaflets, seen in case of Mimosa pudica touch me not plant. There is another condition where the first main rachis, secondary rachis, and now I have the tertiary rachis also coming out. So here it is divided for 3 times. In this case we saw division for 2 times. In this case we call it as tripinnate. Example, moringa. Understand one thing, students. Imparipinnate and paripinnate can be present in unipinnate leaf, bipinnate leaf and tripinnate leaf. Now if you look at this diagram very closely, you can see a odd number of leaf being present. It means this moringa is a imparipinnate, tripinnate type of leaf. So I hope you have understood the concept properly of unipinnate, bipinnate and tripinnate. Moving on, we try to understand the second type of compound leaf, that is permeately compound leaf. Now for you all to understand, I very clearly told you 5 digits palm. But in nature, in leaf, every time there cannot be a possibility of 5 leaf. Sometimes they are way lesser in number. So what we understand is, if the leaflet has reached till the petiole, there is a permeately compound leaf. Let's see the first diagram here. We call it as unifoliate compound leaf. Why uni? There is a single leaf. Folia, foliage means leaf. Foliage, the word is basically leaf. So foliate, uni, single folia, it is the leaf what we see. So single leaflet from the tip of the petiole. This is our petiole, understand it. From the tip of the petiole is unifoliate leaf, but it is permeately unifoliate leaf. On the same lines, if I have 2 of them, 1 and 2, what do I call it? Bifoliate permeately leaf. We see in 2 conditions, Bignonia and Hardwickia. So I repeat again, unifoliate leaf, from petiole 1 leaf. Bifoliate leaf, from petiole 2 leaf. The third condition is trifoliate. Now I think it is becoming easier, 1 leaf, 2 leaf, 3 leaf. In quadrifoliate you have 1, 2, 3 and 4. In multifoliate it is more than 4. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. This has 5 digits, something like a typical palm. So where do we see these leaves? Trifoliate leaf we see in case of Marmelos, Medicago, Oxalis and Eagle. Now if I have to at least come up with those examples which you might easily understand, Eagle is wood apple. We have learnt in modification in stem Eagle as an example of thorn modification. Oxalis we have come across several times. One of the modifications seen in Oxalis is it is runner, a stem modification. Even in Eagle and Oxalis both are stem modification. Eagle is aerial stem modification thorn and Oxalis is subaerial stem modification runner. Medicago and Marmelos are few other examples. Quadrifoliate. Quadrifoliate, here we are going to give you a pteridophyte as an example and not angiosperm. The example is Marsilia. Marsilia is a pteridophyte where you have 4 leaves reaching to the tip. Multifoliate, you have Neandropsis. Neandropsis has 5 leaves, leaflets coming together forming into palm. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. The last one under Permeate compound leaf is decompound leaf. What do you understand by decompound leaf? A condition where the palm is not a complete palm, the dissection has not reached completely till the end, but the dissection leads to fine dissections. So, have you all seen coriander leaf? This comes under decompound leaf. Other than that, all the families which are very closely related with coriander such as Daucus and Feniculum, all these comes under this kind of category. Now coriander, then you have this Feniculum, other than this you have the cumin. All these comes under the similar type where either the leaf becomes like this compounded type in general or the leaf becomes like this. What happens in these? They are not needle like but a little thicker than needle. They are completely hair like structures, fine arrangements, which we call it as decompound leaf. So, we have learnt till now simple leaf, compound leaf, under compound leaf we have learnt pinnately compound, palmately compound. In pinnately compound you have learnt that there are 2 leaves which come side by side. Palmately compound you have learnt that 5 leaves form as a palm like structure. Now we are moving on to the next topic, that is leaf modification. What are the kinds of leaf modification do you see? Why do the leaves modify? That is the next question we will try to understand. As we see one by one the modification, we will see that leaves modify based on its requirement. The first type of modification is in terms of picture formation. Picture formation in case of insectivorous plants. The common name Nepenthes or the pitcher plant traps insect for absorbing nitrogen. Why? Because these plants grow in nitrogen less soil or this soil is deficient in nitrogen. This is the place the plant grows. And when the plant is growing in less nitrogen or deficient nitrogen condition, the plant needs to find nitrogen from other source. So, they entrap insects and absorb the nitrogen from them and they throw away. Now, many students always have question that is this a carnivorous nature or a parasitic nature because it is drawing nourishment and killing the insect? No, it is not parasitic, because all nourishment the plant synthesizes by itself. On the same lines, it is neither carnivorous because it only takes in insects to absorb nitrogen. Other than absorbing nitrogen, it throws away the entire other part of the insect. Similarly, we have bladderwort. We learned bladderwort in plant diversity also as turion. You remember Utricularia? Those plants which also propagate with the help of bud. Now, this is your bladderwort plant, which is a hydrophytic plant, common name Utricularia. This also grows in those kind of water where nitrogen is deficient. So, it is insectivorous and takes in insect, and once it has taken up all and taken and drawn all the nourishment in form of nitrogen, it discards the insect out. Moving on to the next form of modification, it is spine formation. Where do you see spine formation? Again, reminding you back the same point, spine is a modification of leaf, whereas thorn is a modification of stem. So, always remember, whenever we are speaking leaf modification, we will use only one word, that is spine, and not thorn. So, spine formation in Opuntia or in general any cacti is to reduce the rate of transpiration, as these plants are phylloclade. Now, phylloclade are those plants where you see long roots and succulent stem, and the stem is green in color and photosynthetic, and all the leaf converts into spine. So, this is the modification seen in terms of Opuntia, spine formation. In several cases, you see that the leaf converts into hook-like structures. What kind of condition? This is called as cladode. In cladode, example asparagus, ruscus, in these you see limited number of nodal growth, and hence there is not big plants, they are generally herbaceous plants. In this the leaves are spine like already. So, these are the leaf, and these cladodes are also called as cladophyll. Phyll means leaf. So, cladodes have cladophyll, which is needle like leaf, also helps in reducing the transpiration and also a form of protection from herbaceous animals. The next type is tendril. Now, we have various types of tendril. The function is same. The function is to climb. We have root tendril, stem tendril, and also leaf tendril. In leaf also various parts form into tendril, like the entire leaf becomes tendril in case of Lathyrus. Now, if you are looking at this plant, first one, you will be imagining, ma'am, what are these? You are telling the entire leaf has become into a tendril, then what is this? Isn't this a leaf? No, this is not a leaf. This is a stipule. Stipule is leaf-like extension at the base of the leaf. Where did the leaf go? Leaf is here. It forms into a tendril. This is the leaf. This is a tendril. So, the entire leaf forms into a tendril is seen in case of Lathyrus. In case of Pisum sativum, only the upper leaflets turn into tendrils. Now, this is a stipule. Again, these three are leaflet. What are this? This is the upper leaves which is become tendril. So, in both Pisum sativum and Lathyrus, leaves become tendril, but what is the difference? In case of Lathyrus, the entire leaf becomes tendril. In case of Pisum sativum, only few leaves at the tip becomes tendril. Moving on, the next one is very important because I have seen several students get confused in this. Phyllodes, seen in Australian acacia. Now look at the leaf very closely. Try to understand what is a leaf. Now see, this is the stem from which something like this is grown, and then you have thorn like extensions coming out. I hope you can make out the pic clearly. So I am repeating, this is the stem, this is an extension from the stem, and on the extension you have spines. Now try to follow the pic once more. What is this part? This part is basically petiole. It is the stalk of the leaf. What are these? These are the leaf. But what shape is it? It is in spine like, needle like. So in other words, the leaf, to reduce the transpiration in case of Australian acacia, has converted itself into spine. Who is doing the function of leaf? The petiole is doing. So here you could see the petiole becoming green and herbaceous. The common name is Australian acacia. Biological name is Acacia melanoxylon. This grows in semi-arid region. What is semi-arid? Partially dry condition. Australia is not completely a mesophytic zone. It has a little drier regions also. Next type is again another insectivorous plant named Drosera. The common name is sundew plant. If you only could see many other pic, you would see these points at the top are like water droplets, and it looks like the dew which you see in the early morning. Now looking at these dew like beautiful structure, and you can see it is reddish, greenish, very colorful, the insects come and get entrapped. Immediately the leaf entwines around it and digests the insect for the same purpose of extracting nitrogen, because again this plant grows in nitrogen devoid condition. I hope you have understood this also. Moving on to the next set of modification. This set of modification is done for vegetative propagule. This is bryophyllum. Bryophyllum, you can see a plant growing from another part of leaf. Can you see from the leaf margin how many plants have grown? If I detach out these parts and grow, they will all grow into single plant. So this is bryophyllum, which is helping in vegetative propagation. Next one is tendril, but which part of the leaf is a tendril? The petiole. Petiole is converted into tendril in case of clematis. So this plant is clematis. Clematis petiole. So if I have to just quickly add up everything, in case of Lathyrus, what did we see? We saw the entire leaf is tendril. Pisum sativum, only the upper leaf is tendril. In case of clematis, what we are seeing? In clematis, we are seeing petiole is a tendril. There is one more example named gloriosa, which comes in a family Liliaceae, lily family. Leaf tip becomes tendril. Can you see? This is the leaf, entire leaf. But in the tip region, it is entwined. So the last example in this, if I have to add on, gloriosa, it is leaf tip. So these are the few examples what you can see in terms of tendril. One last example of Malacophilus xerophyte. What are Malacophilus? In short, we call it as succulent plants. Nowadays, in almost every houses for decorative purposes, we keep succulent plants. Maintenance is easy, less watering is required. It is both indoor and outdoor. So, one such succulent plant here we can see is Malacophilus xerophyte. These looks beautiful, herbaceous and cacti like plants which has lot of water retention capacity and can grow in less water conditions. Okay, now that we have learned the morphology of leaf, we have understood the modification of leaf, quickly we will summarize what we have learnt in today's class. In today's class, we have learned the first point as morphology of leaf. So, what are the parts of leaf? Leaf first of all is formed from a axillary bud. At the base you can see petiole, we can see stipule and leaf lamina. In leaf lamina what do you see? We see midraches, and along with midraches we see a lot of veins. Incision may or may not be formed. So, our leaf looks like this, correct? This is the branch and this is how the leaf look. If you want to specify incision, you could show one of the sides having incision, the other is smooth. You could show venations, reticulate venation, or in case of monocots in your earlier classes you might have studied, you see parallel venation. Okay, we move on to the next thing what we learn, types of leaf. Types of leaf were two types, simple, when we had leaf either very smooth like this or the leaf looked with incision, and then you have compound leaf where the leaf incisions reach to the center midrib. So, here we get compound leaf. So, I think the second point is also clear. Moving on, the third point, pinnately compound leaf. In pinnately compound leaf, we said pinna-like extensions of 2, 2, 2, 2 in number happens. In pinnately compound leaf, we have unipinnate, then we have bipinnate. So, this is uni, this is bi, because there is branching out which has happened, and we have tripinnate where 1, 2 and 3 and the leaf grows here. So, we have seen examples for this. Other than this, we have learned imparipinnate and paripinnate. What is paripinnate and imparipinnate? It depends on the terminal leaf. If the terminal leaf is single, it is imparipinnate. If the terminal leaf is even number, then it is paripinnate. Then we move on to the next section. The next section is permeately compound leaf. In permeately compound leaf, we saw citrus plant where we have wing kind of petiole and one leaf coming up till the petiole. We call it as unifoliate permeately compound leaf. Then we have two leaves which comes till the center. Then we call it as bifoliate. Then we have three leaves which came up till the center to form palm. We called it trifoliate. Then we have four leaves, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So, 4 leaves coming together, we call it as quadrifoliate. But other than that, we have decompound leaf which formed a needle like extensions in coriander, cumin and so on. we called it decompound leaf. So that was the next point what we learnt. Then we moved on to the last section of the chapter, leaf modification. We saw several modifications. First of all, we saw insectivorous plants. Insectivorous plants are pitcher plant. We have Utricularia and sundew plants, where they were growing in nitrogen deficient conditions, where they require nitrogen from the soil or from water and they could grow. We also saw vegetative propagation in case of bryophyllum, where we could see new plants growing from the margin of the leaf. We saw leaf tendrils which helped them climbing. This was seen in case of Lathyrus, where entire leaf became a tendril, Pisum sativum, where upper leaf became tendrils, Clematis, where petiole became a tendril, and Gloriosa, where leaf tip became a tendril. Other than this, we saw Phylloclade and Cladode. Phylloclade example was Opuntia and all cactus, and Cladode example was asparagus, where we saw leaf converting into spine to reduce the transpiration. And I think other than this, we saw Malacophilous leaves, which was succulent in nature, which could store a lot of moisture. I hope today's class is clear to you all. So let's see what questions we will be discussing in the Imparters platform. So the first question is, pines are present in Cucurbita, Bougainvillea, Opuntia or Casuarina? Question 2, mineral element obtained by insectivorous plant from insect is magnesium, nitrogen, boron or zinc. Leaf serves the function of storage in Dionaea, acacia, garlic or cactus. Next question, which of the following is an insectivorous plant? Casuarina, Bryophyllum, Dionaea or acacia? Question 5, Nepenthes catches the insect by tentacles, pitchers, bladder, trigger, hair. Question 6, which of the following is a leaf modification? Thorn, cladophyll, phyllodes or phylloclade? Question 7, pulvinous leaf base is not present in Dolichos, Pisum, Crotalaria, Solanum. Question 8, plant with fleshy leaves such as Allium, Acacia, Allistonia. I think we have one extra example, Acacia being repeated. Question 9, insect eating plant. 1. Allistonia, 2. Dionaea, 3. Bombax, 4. Acacia. Question 10, phyllodes is the modification of limna, stem, lamina, this is lamina, stem, petiole or terminal bud. Next is a match the following, where we have two lists. First list has tendril, insectivorous leaf, epiphyllous buds, spines. List 2, Opuntia, Bryophyllum, Pisum sativum, Nepenthes or Bougainvillea. We have the correct matches to it. So let's meet in the online classroom. All the best, students. Thank you.